I wouldn't be surprised if this is another Jeffrey Epstein, R. Kelly type case. He may end up dying in prison.
Diddy has made his way through the world, rising to the top and working with some serious one-percenters. But how did he do it? And what secrets do this small circle of billionaires hide from the public? Today, we look into the slippery slope that led Diddy to his financial success and public downfall. Of course, Diddy started in the music industry as the CEO of Bad Boy Records. At the peak of its powers, Bad Boy brought in about $130 million annually in its prime. Meanwhile, his own music, including albums and singles, generates $100 million in royalties. But this is just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to Diddy's billionaire status, which was one of his proudest achievements.
Is it great to be a billionaire? Do you ever think about it at night?
I think about it every day.
You do.
Long ago, Puffy moved out of solely working in music and began to associate with some of the most powerful futures in business. First off, there was the Sean John clothing line. After inking a deal with Macy's to distribute his fashion brand, Ron Burkle invested $100 million. From there, he convinced Mark Cuban, then owner of the Dallas Mavericks, to let Sean John design uniforms, and then it was seen as a mutually beneficial arrangement. We were an up-and-coming team at a time when pro sports teams didn't do anything with entertainment industry people, Cuban said. We never even met. We never did any follow-up or anything beyond that. While Cuban severed ties with Diddy before he could ever really get incriminated, Ron Burkle continued to link up with Puffy for business dealings. In 2015, Diddy bought water company Aqua Hydrate along with Burkle and Mark Wahlberg. But while Aqua Hydrate never reached its potential, the world of alcoholic beverages was very keen on Puff. In 2007, Diageo approached him about becoming a brand spokesman for Ciroc Vodka. Soon, he'd end up as brand manager and chief marketing officer in return for a 50% profit share. With Diddy's co-sign, Ciroc became a giant in the alcohol world, and it is believed he gained over $1 billion from them over the course of 15 years. Describing himself as the man who took them from a meager 75,000 cases in annual sales to millions in just a few years, that deal would implode in 2023 when Puffy accused Diageo of racism. Away from alcohol and clothing, he also had a very successful Estee Lauder fragrance line. William Lauder claimed that Diddy was a man who has built a phenomenal reputation as a tastemaker in music, in fashion, and in business. But William wasn't the only one to praise him. Bridgewater CEO Ray Dalio has claimed that he's a real hero and he wants to be a role model and help others. In addition to his other investments, Fortune claimed that he inked a $185 million deal to buy cannabis retail stores and production facilities.
As New Yorkers wait for the first legal sales of recreational marijuana, a well-known name is investing big time in the industry.
That's right, Sean Combs, better known as Diddy, inking a deal worth up to $185 million.
Since everything went down, Sean John's Macy's deal has come to a close. Meanwhile, their products have also been heavily marked down at Walmart. In the interim, he has also resigned as CEO of Revolt, the news media company that he founded. Following his homes being raided by the feds, Diddy was expected to lay low. However, he was recently spotted in Miami alongside longtime associate Stevie J. As for what's next, there are those involved in the law that believe he's got a grim future ahead, which will likely entail jail time.
Cassidy was with Diddy for a decade, and she knew where the bodies were buried, and she spilled it all out. And that encouraged other victims to come forward. Under federal law, if someone is convicted of even one count of sex trafficking, it carries a minimum 10 or 15-year prison sentence minimum. The judge can't go any lower for each count depending on the age of the victim. I wouldn't be surprised if this is another Jeffrey Epstein, R. Kelly type case, but I wouldn't be surprised if Diddy is arrested in the coming days or weeks, and he's going to have to face these charges. And there's no possible plea that is going to get him off with a slap on the wrist or probation. The prosecutors are successful and able to prove it. He may end up dying in prison.
Following the raid, Aaron Dyer has said that the military-style approach has led to a premature rush to judgment of Mr. Combs and is nothing more than a witch hunt based on meritless accusations made in civil lawsuits.